Hey everyone and welcome back. As I said in the last video, in this one we're going to be taking a closer look at some of the things that are going on outside the Raccoon City police station, which you wouldn't normally get to see. And not only does that include taking a look around the city, but taking a look at the helicopter crash and a couple of other things that you guys may have been curious about just as I was. So to start off with, we are going to be taking a look around the city, which usually we can only see beyond the playable areas of the map. So when we take the camera over the top of the truck which blocks our route down the street, we can see just to our right that the road links up with the RPD, but if we continue down the road we can go on for quite some time, and all the way down this road there are cars lining the streets, as we would see in the animation that we watch at the beginning of this scene, albeit with far less detail, but it is kinda cool to see that all this is still out here. As we move further away from the map, the textures for the road and the buildings start to run out, and to be honest, I couldn't find anything hidden out here like we have done in previous games that was worth mentioning. But when I took the camera up into the sky for a quick bird's eye view of the map, I thought it looked pretty awesome to see everything that was going on all at once, and it's certainly something a bit different for you viewers who have played this game to see it from this viewpoint. Something else that I wanted to know whilst we were at this point was if the zombies that we see hanging around outside the playable area would do anything if we got close to them. Well, it turns out they don't. I guess they must be thinking of other things. Also, very quickly as I move Claire down the back alley towards the station, you can just see this happening on the right side of the screen. I wanted to know what happens to this area once we enter the next part of the map, and I was quite surprised at the amount of detail left behind, as I thought most of this would disappear as you never really get to see this area again. Last but not least, whilst we're outside the station, we're going to take a look at what's beyond the bus and these cars and behind the station itself. Again, there isn't too much to see down the road other than this woman zombie who I don't think we get to see under normal circumstances. But in fact there is actually less than the other road, although beyond this thick fog there are buildings still out there. But the main thing I wanted to show you whilst we're down here was the side road that leads down the side of the station, because if we go down this side road, here we can see most of the station isn't loaded up at this point, except for one item that I found down here. Now, even when I brought Claire out to this point, I couldn't collect this item, but as you can see, it is of course the map to the lower floor of the police station, and this is where the map will be located when the section of the station is loaded up, although I'm not entirely sure why this is the only object that we can find right now. Did you ever wonder where the female zombie that crashes through the window comes from? Yep, I did too. Here she is waiting for her trigger just to the right of the window, and this is pretty much the same story at the other windows zombies come through too.
What was that?
That of course was the first liquor we see, so being it's outside, let's take a look at where it comes from and goes to. Last but not least in the video, I wanted to take a look at the helicopter crash, as even if we run for it, we still practically miss the whole thing. My first question was, where does the helicopter come from? So now we know where it comes from, let's take a closer look at the helicopter itself, and when we go inside, check it out. Considering we never get to see inside it, the helicopter has an amazingly detailed interior. Except for one major thing, of course, a pilot. No wonder it crashed then. Okay, we've seen where it comes from and we've seen what it looks like inside, so let's take a closer look at the crash itself. You may have noticed that the model of the helicopter changes within a split second of the crash to the smashed up wreckage that we get to see. Here it is again in super slow-mo, and this is the reason why I said we never get to see the detail inside the helicopter, as after the crash it's a different model. Alrighty guys, that is it for another video. I certainly hope you've enjoyed it and I hope you can come and join me for the next one. Also, if you want to know more about the channel or future updates on what I'm working on, then feel free to come and join me on the usual social media sites that can be found in the description. But for now, and as always, until the next time, take care.